Yeah, what's good with y'all? We about to act Paul George GOAT season, man. That one good season he had, that few good seasons he had. But nah, that y'all know when he in that OKC motherfucking uniform, he was hooping. Love y'all, like, subscribe.
For the Blazers with leading going into the fourth quarter as George slips his way and throws it down.
That's the best.
Thunder. CJ McCollum so dangerous on the offensive end. George, a series of moves. Oh my, Paul.
Not fouled on that play as well.
Oh, George trying to slither down low. Triple team somehow skirts free with the reverse. There, the contest at the rim. And George leaking out behind the defense. Well, it's easy to underappreciate the career of Wilt Chamberlain. It's not hard to appreciate Paul George. Win 11 out of the last 12 games. George, the hesitation, takes the bump, and it... Here's George, puts it on the floor, gets past two guys, stuffs it on the freak. Bledsoe buries a three, it's a three. The catch, timer at 5. Against Brogdon, puts it up, hits it! 34 for Paul George.
I'm interested to see this matchup because look personal. That looked like he had some
Will Barton don't jump.
anger with that one. Good cut there by Paul George. Paul George gets one to go there off the steal in transition. Works. Torrey Craig there for the rebound and then knocks it. Another steal by Paul George. And he's able to get off.
With a chance to tie for OKC. For the lead. Got it.
He just blocked that pass.
It's the same guy. Paul George. Thunder want to get out. Stepping into a three is George. And he 8 so far in this first half. Leaves it off to George. Thought about that three. Instead, spins on Arcidiacono. Adams, but it was a line drive. Adams keeps the possession alive. George. Everything.
He was already guarding his man. That wouldn't have happened.
Off the steal. The lob. Jeremy Grant yet again. Underneath the free throw line. Now Paul George got to the list. Michael, block number 11 by Paul George. Transition three. Splashes home.
Marshall set Luka Doncic up and watch out. Here we go.
George. George open on the catch fire three. And another one for Paul George.
Not allow the Mavericks to set up their defense. And look what happens.
Trey Burke, 25 off the bench. George, the step back. Got the... Shooting 75%. That has pushed the Nuggets to a 5-point lead. George again, same play. Almost this time at Bart, who contends that he stood his ground. But George, keep it up. Keep the pressure on. You got to keep it at single digits. George made one, make it, as he had missed the last 3 games. We'll take a look at tonight's halftime leaders, given by Triple A and Shaw.
Casey, you just took a look at, knows he's in the zone right now.
Speaking of it,
Tucker has 13 points. Capella has 10. And Paul George, the ball contender for Adams, comes back to Shrewer, and George hits. Outside, George 3, got it! Trying to feed inside, deflected and picked up by Paul George. Off that baseline, drives into it. Off to Adams, Westbrook corner, George for the lead.
George on the break. And George finishes with the slam. George going to work here. Physical against Matthews. And one. Count it. Man, that was hand-to-hand combat.
Off-ball screens, they're switching very little. On-ball, they'll switch a little bit more, but you're right. Paul George with a terrific three-point play opportunity. He does the dirty work at the deepest.
The Thunder want him to. George bounces into a three.
You're right. There has to be some kind of balance to it. Paul George lines up another three ball.
And they're back in. Thunder stays down defensively. George gets behind the pack and soars for the flush.
And absolutely, we got to keep this up.
George, right down the pipe.
How about that NBA steal? Was it either starting off with the steal and an assist?
Which is their specialty, a 9-0 advantage. They can do it again right here. Celtic off the rebound, it's kept alive. George for three. Detroit Pistons. He's now 5 for 6 from three-point land. George. Last counts as a foul. He got the call. He was able to gather it up with the bucket.
Look at that Laker bench taking responsibility. And George taking responsibility for the starters, but Laker
to run on offense. You were a starter in Atlanta. You were the leader of the team. Now you're in a six-man role, which I became accustomed to. How have you grown comfortable in your role here in Oklahoma? I mean, it's a winning mentality.
In that third quarter.
George.
Wait a minute. Am I tweaking? Lance Stephenson and Michael Bees was on the same Lakers team at the same time before. I don't know if y'all know. They on the same team now in the Big Three. That's why I'm just like, well, I smoke too much weed, bro.
Flares up. As Noel has to save that pass. Setting up another George tray. And he bounds 2005 to 2016.
This is special.
George comes right back, fires away, and hits.
The basketball under 2 minutes.
George launches. That's good. As he rattles it home. Thunder inching closer up ahead. George soars and throws it down.
Right now the energy level is picking up for the Thunder.
George got to the lane.
Best year, no doubt about it. George able to knock down.
Thread passes against this Thunder defense. George, that is an and one continuation, counted in the foul. So you talk about the Thunder with numbers. Schroeder drops it off. George.
Oh, you picked up on that.
Oh yeah, just didn't have time. George got fouled. Count it. Paul George for the possible. Just such good action. Adams able to facilitate. George down the lane. The way by Ferguson. They hit ahead to Patterson. The lob. George.
That's just the big Kyrie Irving, man. I swear it is, bro.
That Atlanta did not turn the ball over that much. Ball
Peel spray.
No.
George, the jumper is good. It's a plenty of time left. 6:45 remaining. George feeling it. Paul George.
Some ball movement. They only got off 6 field goal attempts in the fourth quarter.
Paul tapped out. Adams. George drives. He's fouled. A chance at a three-point play. George crosses. George flips it in. He put it over Jared Allen. It's a one for Westbrook. 1-point game. Westbrook tosses. George, pump fake. 3 on the way. Yes! Paul George nails it. The Thunder go in front with 3 seconds to play. Paul George has come up huge for OKC. Timeout Nets.
He's on my shoulder, and I'm just going to move him out because of upper body strength.
The field here in the first quarter. Kyrie taking on the defensive challenge. Paul George just that much better. He is back up to 8. George against Tatum. Straightaway 3.
Whoa.
Down to the game.
Oh, make that, yeah, it's 4th. George. No, 6 rebound. Oh, I'm sorry. There's George. Oh, that's going to count.
Adams plays quarterback. Throws it to George. Sends it. Paul George who in a half-court shot.
You know George is going to try to start to take over, and he scores there.
A rebound, and the Thunder have it. Felton's look-away pass. 4-3, Paul George. It's going to end with a Lorenzo Williams reference.
You can get the production on that.
Oh, Paul George.
And again, Marcus, it's the bounce passes that are too slow to get through the quickness of the defense by the Thunder.
14 points tonight on over 50% shooting. George with threes after he had given Dallas the lead at 95-93. Oh, quick stop and pop three, Paul George.
Whoa.
1:58 left of the game.
George takes it strong, sourced. George feeling it for three. Got it! His third triple. Who held him to 1 of 12 on threes in their first meeting. George, what a beautiful finish.
5 of 26 from beyond are the Pistons.
That's too easy.
George off the fake. 17 for Durant. George right back.
Shot right there by Draymond. You get more ball movement.
Paul George again from downtown.
And Durant goes right at him and loses the ball. George to the rim and the stop. Diallo swats Durant, tried to go behind the back. It ends up in the hands of George. Reverse stuff. And the lead is 15. Largent. George will try it in the other end. And what a swing. Here's Paul George, just 3 for 10 from the floor. He'll try this three-pointer, and he buries the bottom.
Value of the three and the restricted area twos for Houston.
George splashes home a step-back three. George spot up three, buries it. Westbrook as Harden fumbles it, lost it. Good defense from Steven Adams. George drives and finishes. Westbrook leads the NBA in assists. Harden is 5th in the NBA. Is George, count it, and the 4 on the 24. George, count it, and the foul. Chance for a 4-point play.
Team, well, gotta face it up.
What do you got to get back to in this fourth?
Well,
now Rockets responded to an OKC run with one of their own. George for three. Paul George now
able to come to the stop. Noel couldn't do anything about it.
And now George another three. Now they run him off the screen again. Now George down the lane, pounds it down. Much better pro than he ever was in that 1 year in college.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I don't think anybody can argue that he's a much better pro. And they missed Paul George getting out. Yeah, this is a good timeout.
7 times this year they've shot below 40%. They've lost the ball, and that is a basket and a foul as George scores.
He was trying to dunk it, Chris, and
he's hit 5 threes tonight and hits his 6th.
High intensity defense.
I can literally watch this nigga hoop all day. I ain't even gonna lie. That's why I'm just saying here, shutting the fuck up. It's literally poetry in motion.
George sees
That
one go in.
at 6'9", 6'8", whatever the fuck they got the nigga listed at.
Nice move by Adams after a good pass.
But we know that was especially on screen roll game.
I think he's one of the really underrated big men in this league. Bench. The coach is nuts. Wide open. Is anybody in the building? What has happened or hasn't happened with the Lakers?
There's a throat prize with all how the game's been called tonight. There was no whistle there.
For the lead, bingo.
This is a disgrace. George well beyond the arc. That's a three. His first three-pointer.
and Paul George rips him and then looks at the Laker bench.
Stevenson all over George. Finally draws the foul. Shot's good and one.
And those two guys are good friends and play a lot of video games together while they're on the road.
Stays in the game. Meanwhile, OKC's missed their last 10 shots, and that streak caught.
You're the Thunder. Make this Laker team play half-court out.
George to the rim, lays it up and in. 32 for Paul George. Back.
Look at Paul George too, Mike.
Oh, beautiful pass and team.
Team effort, not just a team effort offensively, but on the defensive end, they've been extreme.
Player in the NBA, Russell Westbrook. Paul George flipping it in, and here comes Westbrook hitting ahead for Paul George. Drives on Winslow and finishes 4 after being behind early by a dozen. That's George. And that's another beauty.
Steal. Paul George for three. Yes.
Kyle Lowry being a little more of a distributor this year, I think, is a healthier mix for them.
Paul George. Miami again down by 19. 8:27 left. George. Oh, the Heat are down by 20. Paul George. Another one. He has just set a new career high. 10 triples in 15 attempts for Paul George.
But what does he want to be remembered as a professional player? That's astounding. You know, of course, someone of his talent's gonna, as George takes it and dunks it.
Mike, because obviously sometimes when people foul, they don't have an intent to foul. So even with the
Defensive play got the strip. Ahead to George, driving and Frazier scores and a foul.
But Steven Adams is the guy.
Point lead in that first quarter and a save by Adams. George up ahead, throws it down. Paul George gives it up. Good
I love
ball
this
movement.
nigga's game,
George for
man.
three.
I swear.
Got it.
So calm, you know,
He said, I knew
collected, and
George gets
pace.
free,
This
Hardaway in
nigga's
pursuit. George in rhythm. Played 44 games with the Knicks back in 87 and 88. Paul George scoots inside.
Sonia.
George, little shake and bake, nails the three-pointer as he falls down. Some three-point field goal percentage.
Westbrook has struggled and averages a triple-double.
And come right back.
Better step for the Knicks now.
Especially at this end of the floor.
Yep. Better body language.
And George banks it home.
Yep. Pace of the game, and George continues to pour it on.
Drive to the basket. George shoots over the top of Ivan. A lot of young fans, you know, they need to see some of the names on that list. Paul Malone, terrific score. There's a truck, and they make the call. George, oh my goodness. Paul Isaac got a hand on that one. But Paul George is there to lay it in. George rising over Fournier.
To Adams.
Yeah, they wanted to discontinue that.
For the lead, Paul George. Three ball. Another possession out to Westbrook. The lob. George finishing at the other end. You got to think Paul George has to get a touch at some point, and he does. The three ball quickly. Got it! And one! My George!
Get an easy layup.
George raising up for three.
Stay there. And don't move until the shot actually hits the rim. And he might not think it doesn't mean much, but it real body and just flick it away.
He's got 3 steals.
Teams have been able to lately.
George from deep cashes in. The skill of guys like Paul George, Lillard, Westbrook, George falling away right on cue.
Pretty good at what they do, and you're no longer taking the lead by surprise.
Paul George taking it to the rim. Last year, averaging 28 per game. Portland swept the Thunder. In fact, as George nails it.
Playing together by a long shot is what's always on my mind. So, Paul George.
He's had some injury issues. As Paul George smokes the rim on another one. He's got 34 points.
Best it all. Offensive rebound by George. Did not hit the rim. Clock continues to tick, and George.
Sacramento Kings and shot selection.
Had 8 in that first half.
14 of 27 in the first quarter. 7 ties, 1 lead change. And again, Oklahoma City field.
Yes, he is.
Kings are in trouble right now. And they're not getting a stop there. That's Paul George making sure is on the all-star Paul George. Well, he's not on him anymore. The basket is good. He's a couple shots. He's, been a factor in the paint. And this guy has been a factor.
Offensive end, if I'm Greg Popovich.
We've tried to find out from Oklahoma City with a 3 right here by George. George a 3, good.
Raptors do not have a bench player. As George drills a set.
The Paul George. Westbrook spreads the floor. George slaps away the hand of O'Neal too. George
I know it
inside.
seemed like nothing,
Off
but
the
this
glass.
nigga is just doing whatever the fuck he want, bro. That's crazy.
George fires up the 2.
I mean, you're flat out seeing some amazing athletes go at it tonight. And there's one. Well, that's got to be what, 3 missed.
And Paul George just looks at the front row. 2 or 2 of 7. They go for 51
Seen him.
points tonight.
King guard. You heard him.
Stolen. George. Oh, beautiful pass. Grant's going to run it home untouched.
This is Oklahoma City's style.
George, deep, knocks it in. Paul George's 4th three-pointer.
Back up to a 5-point lead for the Magic. George, one-on-one, total steals. 10-point Thunder lead. George knocking down the lane. Oh, the nifty move on the left hand. His 3-point shooting. Showcased it there. Paul George off the dribble. And got the shoot. Westbrook. And George wants that 3, and he buries it from the left side. Paul 3, and left it short. George the rebound. A little bit of time here for the Thunder. As he will launch it from half court, and it goes.
I'm going to tell you a story about that shot. He and Raymond Felton were practicing that shot before the game.
As Paul George on the reload 3, the work that he's done. You'd think that he's been in the league a long time, that he's much older than he is. Got it into George. Nice screen from Adams, setting him free. And then
Zapping. But boy, look at this here.
3 white shirts.
Off the backboard. And Grant with the exclamation point. The highest scoring duos in the NBA from the guard position is Paul George. That time. 2. George open for 3 on the step back, and like you said, Michael, he makes it look so easy, just so silky smooth. And Aminu, came up and got blocked by George. McCollum had it knocked away and a steal by George. George got away from him.
That was actually a great block. My tap nigga blasted her.
There's a pass got deflected by Paul George. Hip to hip with Nurkic. All the way to the rim, and he scores. You know, you talk about to Adams. George left open. He dials it up.
George for 3. Got it.
Get a good 2-for-1 opportunity. Doesn't have to be a 3.
George over Leonard. Yes!
Oh!
Touch it, he shows.
George again got that paw in the passing lane. Goes right at the rim. Had the angle and spins it home. On 28% of the game. As George dancing, blocked, I believe, by Favors, but there's Steven Adams saving it from going out of bounds. George, boy, he is up. Ray of ways. And now another steal. Paul George got one man to beat, but he leaves it up for Jeremy Grant, the follower of the flush.
George pulls up for 3, buries it. 8 straight. Shot clock at 8. George gets Mitchell off his feet. It ties the game with a 3. Be a pass or a shot. It ends up being Thunderball anyway, and a breakaway for George. And a stop.
How about that overtime game? 3 minutes left. Down 2, and you go with a win.
Ties the season high with 38. Mitchell, George, double clutches as he nails the 15-footer. They're not going to use it. George with 5. George drives over Gobert. It's good with 8/10 of a lead. Timeout, Utah.
And that's why you don't call a foul right. Excuse me, not a foul, but a timeout right there. You have your best player on the floor right now with the basketball.
Let's put eyes on him.
George, nifty move, finds his open man. It's Westbrook, rattles that one.
Bradley Beal with a hand in his face.
George, that's it.
Have both of them play. I mean, I don't even have words to describe it. I'm just.
George gets past the defense. Layup is good. 20 for George. Adams tips it back out. George for 3. Puts it in. 1 point.
Or stayed between McCollum and the basket. Again, I like Paul George attacking the rim.
Will amass those numbers. He had a great year, did Lillard. George for the answer. 3rd year. That was the 15-16 season. George over Cantor. Cantor tried to help. Yeah, George, he's kind of showing everyone that shoulder's all right. He's not injured.
No, he pushed Harkless way.
Blocking. It took a while to fit in.
Well, he's fitting it now. They'll turn it over. And looking for George.
Working on Aminu. Step back three from the corner is good. Big.
Pump faked the three and drove and took it home. As you see Paul George. Paul George coming up the rebound, however.
Second chance opportunity here. George is hot. George stays hot. A timeout. George can't answer. Offensive board. Grant sets up George for three. And that calms him down. A run for the Blazers. George on the take. George scores. Man, what a tough shot for Paul George. Westbrook gives it to George. George will pull the mid-range, and he hits it. And the Thunder.
Love y'all. Like, subscribe, man. Nigga, Paul George is a bucket.